Hi all, it's a well, not really scheduled, we're playing it by ear. We have the Kippers tournament coming up this weekend. We've had all the lists submitted, the deadline has been reached, and we're going to do a little bit of a discussion on the list tonight. So just grab a drink, sit down, relax. So Momo's here, we're going to see what we can figure out.
We got some great lists, a lot of variation in those lists. We've got a nice spread of pretty much almost every faction that we could possibly have.
Yeah, so
that's great.
Yeah, should be good. All right, so what we're going to do is we're just standing here for this part of it. We're going to sit down with a hot cuppa because it's a bit chilly and it's Canada, and we'll be back with you very shortly.
See you soon.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Just going to make sure everything's okay. We have 4 concurrent viewers at the moment. Everybody can say hello.
Give us a hello, folks. Make sure you can hear our audio and all that stuff in the chat, and we'll try to have a discussion with you as we're going as well. Feel free to ask questions about the weekend or any about the army list or whatever you think.
Okay, all right. So this is our tournament pack for the weekend. And, might as well get comfy. Let's get our legs back and sit back and get keyboard and all the rest. Legs up on the table.
Hello from Burnaby. Nice. Are you coming to the tournament from Burnaby? Are you? If you are, what's your name? We'll cover your list in here.
Yeah, we'll cover all of them as we go along. So that's all right. Okay, the mouse works from over here. The mouse works from over here. Okay, so this is a two-day tournament. And we're playing at 1995 plus 5, so that's basically 2,000 points, but with less than 2,000 point restrictions. The idea was that instead of doing like the Masters type thing, where it seemed to be a lot of power combos and stuff like that, we wanted more of a little bit less skewish.
Tough choices.
Yeah, tougher choices, a less skewish of a tournament. And you know what, I kind of I'm more of a fan of games where how you use your army on the table is what really dictates the game, rather than whether your opponent brought a good match or not.
That's right. No, I do prefer myself the UK and Australia build towards Kings of War rather than the US. Nothing against the US. I just prefer a smaller, tough choice type army.
So yeah, the game. So there we go. So points value. Let's see. Hopefully that highlights on the list. Supposed to pick up the window. 995 plus 5, 2,000 points with 995 restrictions. So players may only take the same hero, monster, titan, or war engine a maximum of 2 times. No beta lists.
No beta list this time because basically in a couple of weeks it won't be a beta list anymore.
Yeah, and the orcs or the new orcs already have my name. The Riftborn orcs, whatever.
You've claimed those
have
for sure.
I wanted 2 orcs. Anyway, so we had a list due date of 1st of October. The reason we did that.
Oh, I just want to we got a shout out. So we've got Luke in the house. We've got Scott from Maple Ridge in the house. We've got Sam in the house. So looking forward to meeting you guys, shaking hands and sharing a pint with you this weekend and having some fun. Here we go. Carry on. Sorry, Bard.
Okay, it's all right. So as a way of making things easy, we used Easy Army to do the list.
Yeah.
What you could do there is you could put your points limit to 1995 in Easy Army, and then put it on like the passive setting. So it'll complain that you're over. in points, but it will do the
Restrictions.
The restrictions. So and then checking it afterwards. So Easy Army and Mantic working together, great thing for tournament organisers. Now, if I'd been more on the ball, I would have registered the tournament with Easy Army, and they would have been able to directly send us the lists.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah,
No.
that's a possibility.
Nah,
Okay.
next time.
Okay, so timers, we're playing with 60-minute timers for each player. Once your clock is out, you do basically is dice down, no more actions for you.
So let's review that just for a second, guys. For everybody listening out there and anyone that chimes in later, it's a hard clock. So we're not playing passive on this. There's no, okay, go ahead, finish your, no. It's timeout, timeout. It's a tournament, so we are playing a hard clock. And the reason we kind of have to play a hard clock is because we have pretty limited time within the day to be able to get all this done. So we've got 3 games on the first day and 2 games on the second.
And not to mention, if some people are playing hard clock and some people are not,
It's not fair.
Then it's not fair to the people who are playing hard clock, because you might end up with a higher attrition score when you've gone and played longer.
That's right.
All right, so for the awards, we have best overall, which is going to be basically best general, favorite army and favorite opponent votes all together, and then we have best general, favorite army and favorite opponent. You may only have one of the awards.
That's right.
Yeah, so we'll go from there.
You'll have your choice if you actually qualify for the 3 because you're the
Favorite
best
army
overall,
from- yeah,
favorite
yeah.
army, best painted. You choose which one you want, and then we'll divvy up the others to the next appropriate person. Just keep in mind that best overall is the highest coveted award in any wargame tournament, because it means you scored well in the other categories as well. Okay?
All right, so general conduct. Players are expected to conduct themselves in a respectful manner. If you're playing, hey Dale, I'm not rolling any dice tonight, so you're welcome. so players are expected to conduct themselves in a respectful manner. We're war gamers. We should kind of let adult war gamers.
This shouldn't be.
There's having fun and there's being a dickhead. Just don't be a dickhead. Okay, this includes accepting your own mistakes. It kind of sucks for both players when you make a mistake and then you ask your opponent, "Can I go take it back?" Because it might, you're giving them like a free pass. I'm thinking one free pass is fine, but I've seen situations where giving somebody multiple take backsies, and then you end up with unequal inequity between one player and another. One player's played with less mistakes, the others played with more mistakes, but they got free passes. So
police it yourself,
Yep.
but be reasonable. We're here to have fun,
Yeah,
but it's
yeah.
also a tournament.
if
It's a
you're
competitive tournament.
if you're in low tables or possibly the lower mid tables, then it's a little less to be worried about.
Yeah.
But if you're up there, up the top half, probably try and play to the rules.
Keep in mind that the top table, we will be trying to stream it.
Yep.
So you will be live, and your moves, everything will be recorded back later.
Yep.
So,
yeah,
yeah.
we'll be depending on how many people show up. Momo and I may be
We're
a
kinda hoping
joint
for
ringer.
that.
Yeah, kind of. All right, so let's get to terrain heights. So blocking terrain is height 5. Now, that one threw a lot of people for a loop. Now, the reason for this is blocking terrain and forests, when it comes to line of sight for big stuff, they're pretty much the same. Hey, Rooster, we have 16 players. And so this gives a little bit of your Titans, basically. Your Titans are still going to have line of sight over the normal blocking terrain.
Yep.
So houses and stuff like that, that makes sense. Okay, so it's going to create a situation which people are going to have to keep in mind.
So keep in mind we're using the new FAQ update on flat terrain. So you may have not seen this, or you may have seen this, but keep in mind flat terrain is, if you're in the terrain, it's just like difficult terrain. If you're 50% or more in it, you're going to get cover. If you're behind it and not 50% or more in it, you get 0 cover.
Yep. So
its height is 0.
Yeah, the easiest way to figure this out, actually, it doesn't even have a height.
Doesn't it? Well,
It doesn't even have a height. It's this really straightforward the way they've done it. Your unit has to be 50% or more in the terrain to get cover, and that's it. There's no other cover.
No ambiguity about it.
Okay. Obstacles, height 2 as usual.
Yeah.
Hills, height 3 as usual. Forests, unlimited height as usual.
Yeah.
Okay, so going through the scenarios, I went and took a look at, tallied up all the 12 mission types. Took out smoke and mirrors because that's a little complicated, and you need the special counters for the main part. Maybe could have maybe arranged with Dan Miner to everybody get that as part of the thing, but you know we weren't really sure whether this was going down on COVID or not. So selected selection of missions that represent the mission types that are in the game, where possible combining them, so we have 5 missions.
Oh, just one little quick thing. Somebody chimed in here. Just to give you an idea, folks, we've got 9 folks that are from the island, and 7 out of our 16 are coming over from the mainland. So that's a great new addition. We've got lots of fellas coming over, folks coming over from the mainland, so we have a nice split there.
And you know, it's unfortunate we have some local internet celebrities in the Kings of War community which aren't coming. I'm thinking there might be 1 or 2 of them may be involved with beta testing stuff and might be burning out. And they're playing something else and they don't want to like come back. So I'm thinking you, Mr. Dan Miner, and there's some other people that were working. So Ashley Smashley and Brindley and all the rest, and a couple of people, Dave's like, meh, can't come, but you know, we had a good chance of getting 20 players for this.
I think next year we'll top that for sure.
Yeah, and on a side note, packing up the terrain for the 8 tables, 2 totes, and 1 little one. It's not like 40K when we needed like a convoy of vehicles to bring 20 tables. Anyway, so scenario 1 is push. You know, that's going to be the kind of mission where, well, it's straightforward. You're pushing your loot counters over the other half of the table.
So make sure you download this player pack. I don't know, will we actually print them out for everybody?
I've got a printout for all of them.
Look at this guy. This guy, Bard, he's got it all.
I'm organized. All right, so if you have a look at the scoring here, you have, this is called Blackjack scoring. It's from, I think, Northern Kings, and then went to Australia, so it's, you know, and then coming here, so it's kind of around the world. So you get 14 points for a win, 10 for a draw, 7 for a loss.
That's your baseline.
That's your baseline. Yeah. Now, depending on the mission types, these might be different. I don't know if they are, well, actually they look like they are. But what we have here is if difference in victory points is between 1 and 3, there's no modifier. If it's 4 and 6, then the winner gets +1, the loser gets -1.
So that's really important that you have this little schematic, because it's different than some of the other traditional blackjack scoring methods. It's altered per mission. So as Bard pointed out here, for example, the difference between victory points and push, if you manage to score, for example, 12 plus more victory points than your opponent, so it was a landslide, you're going to get a +4 and your opponent's going to get a -4. That's in push. If you look in dominate, the difference in victory points is if it's 10 plus only, you're going to get that +4 or -4. So it changes on the mission criteria type. So make sure you get this player pack. You can print it out yourself. Bard's going to bring them as well, so that you're scoring correctly. You want to maximize get the best possible score that you or your opponent deserves.
Okay, so dominate. It's unit strength that's in the center, so I guess that's why it makes sense. Okay, so you dominate. That's going to be everything crunching in the center. Salt the earth. Salt the earth, which is an amazing, probably my favorite. Yeah. Smoke and mirrors, I have to play that more to find out whether it's a possible contender, but
it's up there.
Okay, so salt the earth is, you know, grabbing objective markers and burning objective markers when you can't hold them.
And another example, in Salt the Earth, if you're at a 5+ only in victory points, you're going to get that +4 or -4 for your opponent.
So it's scenario dependent.
It is scenario dependent, for sure.
Okay, so we go up to the last one, plunder. So that's one with loot counters on the center line.
Yeah.
So that forces people to move forward. They're also carrying.
This is day 2, by the way, too.
The
first mission on day 2.
Yep.
And we're using a true Swiss scoring pairing method, folks. So that means if you are at the top.
Yeah, well, as long as tabletop, whatever it is, tournament thing, triple T, matching, pairs it that way. It does say Swiss pairing. So that hopefully should work out.
Right.
If it's not what you're expecting, don't come complaining to me. My care factor is going to be little. So
if it says Swiss, that's good.
Yeah, okay,
Swiss means
good.
Swiss.
Okay.
Yeah.
So plunder. So yeah, moving up to grab objectives, and then scenario 5, which is control, which is basically sectors of the table. So all the rest. Okay, so what I have to do now is I have to switch it over to...
Here's what you've all been waiting for. And shout out to Paul in the house as well. Rooster, hey buddy, nice to see you again. So we've got Paul as well. So look at it, we've got we got a lot of our mainland fellas coming checking us out tonight, which is nice.
Yep, all right, so I'm going to switch it over.
Oh, that's a nice graphic. You put that up in a second. Show you all the different armies, guys. Look at this.
Okay, so I'm going to do this first. Going to go for the full screen. Oh yeah.
So look at that.
This is the first time I'm doing this. So hang on, they're not seeing it yet. Well, it's the first time doing this. So there may be some oddities going on here. So let's transition this one
Technical?
over. Yeah. It's I quickly looked on YouTube how to do this before we started.
Okay.
And from there. So all right. So that's kind of not what I want to see. Let's have a look. Come on,
we can go through one of these at a time.
Yeah, I just want to get that one. There we go. Oh, jeez.
So, but they are seeing this right now.
They're seeing.
They're seeing this. Okay.
Yeah. I just want it to go to the one which we want. Okay, hang on. Here we go. There's a bit of lag here.
There it is. So look at that, folks.
Yeah, faction breakdown. So go ahead.
So we've got forces of nature. We've got
what happened there?
We've got. From memory, we've got,
you know what? I bet you there's a slideshow.
Is it on? It's on a loop. It says, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's pause that
slideshow.
That's why slideshow. No slideshow. Can I turn that off? Okay.
Back.
Jerk.
Okay. I think you go back one. There it is. Okay. So we got forces of nature. We've got League of Rordia. We got forces of the abyss. We have 2 League of Rordias.
Okay. You know what I've just noticed?
What?
When I get full screen on this, it applied over to the other screen as well, so we couldn't see the chat. Oh, this is annoying.
Okay. So we got League of Rordia, 2 of them. Forces of the Abyss. We've got 2 Chaos Dwarves. We have 1 Orc list. That's one of my favorite lists. I can't wait to talk about that Orc list. We've got 2 undead lists.
Yep.
We've got 1 Ratkin. We've got a Northern Alliance. I'm so stoked about the Northern Alliance. I have a beautifully painted large Northern Alliance. Many of you might have seen it on the stream. One of my favorite armies, but I went Ratkin this time. Sylvankin, got those as well. We got a great new dwarf army. He's been tearing it up over here. We've got an elf, a true elf army coming over from the mainland. And we've got not 1, 2 salamanders?
Yeah, 2 salamanders. So we've got two salamanders, 2 League of Rordia, 2 abyssal dwarves with Dirty Dale, and 2 undead.
2 undead, nice. Okay. All right, we're going to go through these individually. We've got, Bard has put a lot of work in here, and he's got a little metric, little interesting operationalized terms for some of these units. You'll see the little abbreviation on the side. He's going to take you through that.
Yeah, okay, let's head back over to the PDF. I'm just going to give you a quick rundown on what the various types are that I'm referring to. So let's transition over to there and go to here and get it out of full screen. Go to the list analysis and full screen that again. Okay, so if you're not familiar with the article I put up on the Victoria Wargaming website, to help me get around understanding what does what in the game, I basically bashed together a couple of archetypes or archetypes of the various roles or uses of units in the game. So I'll just quickly go through these. So as it says here, the below definitions aren't written in stone. You might use a unit as something else in your army for a different role than what would normally be there. And in a way, that might actually be advantageous if you can use a unit in an unexpected way.
In multiple ways, yeah.
Yeah. All right, so anchors. These are units that you place in the flanks of your battle line that are capable of withstanding or otherwise engaging enemy flankers. At a minimum, they should have phalanx, even better if you can include ensnare.
Oh, yeah.
Most of the time, people getting you on the flanks are the fast things. So you need counter cav, counter flyer stuff. and things with phalanx and stuff like that are handy. You don't want them to be too crunchy. They need to be able to not be one shot by your opponent come through. Then you have anvils. These are tough, high unit strength units that can take a pounding without breaking. They have high defense and nerve values. They make good loot holders and objective takers. Also, they are pretty good in dominate when you're counting up unit strength in an area.
Right, because of high unit strength.
Okay, buffers. These are units that provide enhancements to the capabilities of your units. Common ones are those that convey elite, vicious, bane chant, brutal, heal, and rally. Often you can combine this with leaders. So your leaders are multi-role. Some armies have the ability to indirectly buff your units via casting offensive debuffs, such as weakness on enemy units. Okay, magic items, which are useful for that. Conjurer's Staff, Trickster's Wand, Loot of Insatiable Darkness, Shroud of the Saint, Tome of Darkness. Okay, then we have Chaff, classic throwaway unit. People talk about Chaff and Thick Chaff. Thick Chaff usually has a higher defensive value. Straight out Chaff, they're usually going to get hit and they're going to die. The Thick Chaff, there's a chance that you're going to survive it, and you're going to use your Chaff to helpfully set up flank charges. And I think in one of our games when you had your Night Stalkers, I lured you out with my Thick Chaff.
Yep.
You charged the unit of wraiths, and you didn't kill them, and I flanked you and started cleaning up from there.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, Deck Chair. Okay, these are units that cost you very little. They hang back on objectives. Now, they want to be unit strength. They have to have unit strength, otherwise they're not holding anything.
Right.
If they've got unit strength of 2, that's even better than 1 because they neutralize an enemy diver, which is the next unit. Now, if they have some sort of shooting range attack, it allows them to not just sit there and do nothing.
Right.
Okay. So then we have magic items for those guys. Dragon Shard Shield, so raise your defensive value. Staying Stone, keep you there. And here's an interesting one, Crystal Pendant Retribution.
Oh.
The reason for that is if you get killed, the opponent that killed you cannot move forward.
Right.
So you can park yourself 3.5 inches away from an objective, blocking it, they charge you, they kill you, but they can't go any further at that turn. So, you know, it might save you. Okay, Diver. These are very fast flying or nimble units with a unit strength of 1 or greater, and ideally have nimble. That's so you can weave your way through the armies of the opponent. They are positioned to threaten multiple objectives late in the game, especially ones weakly held by enemy deck chairs. There's been a few games where I've had my Vampire with the Wings of Honey Maze, and I've used, she didn't have unit strength, but what she did do, actually, you know what, she's more of a missile or a nuisance.
I was going to say a diver.
Same sort of thing, but the weakly held objectives was able to get rid of those.
Right.
Pathfinder on such a unit will allow you to move at the double to objectives that are in difficult terrain. Smart player will place objectives that he's going to have on his side of the table in difficult terrain, maybe 3.5 inches back from the edge, so you can't double your way in. If you have Pathfinder, you can still double your way in. Very handy on flying units. Okay, Flanker. These are fast units that you use to maneuver to the flanks of the enemy army, i.e. Cav. Nimble is very useful for this. Good magic items, Wine of the Elven kind to get that nimble, Brew of Haste to get you there quicker, Boots of Striding, Boots of Striding, that's the getting over the difficult terrain.
Yes, in
a charge.
Jesse's boots.
Yep, and yeah, that's why I had a problem with it, because I didn't have the word Jesse's at the beginning.
That's right.
Yeah, and Makwai's Potion of the Caterpillar. Okay, Grounder. These are fast characters. So individuals,
which is what you were just talking about earlier.
Which you use to ground enemy flies and allow your main units to engage.
Yeah, with your vampire.
Yeah, vampire and horse.
Yeah.
So a mounted character as well, as it has the individual rule for mobility, so you can twist it before you start doing anything. Has long charge range, but also has height 3. It's very important that your grounder is able to see over your units. Now, fortunately, most flyers that are scary are bigger than height 2.
Are they?
Yeah. So most
Oh, you mean like a
it's like
dragon?
yeah.
Which we're going to
Gargoyles.
see plenty of.
Yeah, gargoyles aren't exactly scary.
No,
They're a nuisance, but yeah.
Those
Basuzu.
gargoyles are your flankers, or your, what'd you call them? Or
Yeah,
chaff,
you can use them as flankers.
Yeah.
You can use them as chaff.
Yeah.
Okay, so and one item that's very useful
Yeah,
for
your
grounding
favorite.
is Blade of the Beast Slayer.
Yeah, we won't even go into how you discovered that item.
Yeah, that is a good one. Yeah. All right. So other one, leaders. These are the inspiring rule. You want to have at least 3 of these in your army. We'll come back to that
At
when we
least.
look at the list. At least 3. I've seen. I think there's 1 or 2 might only have 2. They're going to struggle, I think. An option for this will choose a cheap hero with inspiring talisman.
Right.
If you're running fast battle groups in your army, you will want an inspiring source that can keep up with them. You can often combine this with buffers. Magic items, Mournful Blade, so you can go ahead and assassinate characters, inspiring talisman. Okay, missiles. These are very handy. These are fast, expendable melee characters that you can use to get into enemy war machines and shooting units. A cheap combat character with Wings of the Honeymaze will do the job. While the purpose of the unit is to disrupt, destroy, you need to work your way into the enemy backline first and use the maneuver abilities of the individual special rule to avoid enemy counter units. Also force them to react to you. Secondary purpose of can be to assassinate spellcasters, ground enemy flyers. I will also say that they are good at taking out deck chair units because usually they're fairly weak.
Right.
Okay, so magic items, Wings of the Honeymaze. Okay, pests. These are units that are unaffected by difficult terrain that you get into nuisance positions and force the enemy to react to. They don't necessarily need to engage an enemy at every opportunity, but when they do so, they seek out flanks and rears.
Good example is foxes in the Northern Alliance
Yep,
Army.
gargoyles.
Gargoyles too.
Yep, and Dale is very good with the gargoyle pesting. Okay, plinker. Also, I guess other people call them chipper. I'm calling them plinkers because Gulf War I and plinking tanks in the desert. So that's where the phrase comes. My world. These are range units that you can use chip away or cause nerve checks on heavily damaged units. Usually this role is fulfilled with war machines, but range infantry or spellcasters will do the job. Helps if you can use attacks that ignore cover or the individual penalty. So
Boomstick for them, if you can.
Yeah, boomstick is handy. Okay, and shock troops. These are your hammers. Straightforward smashing units that use to engage enemy units in melee, often called hammers. They have good melee values in crushing strength or thunderous charge. Crushing strength is preferable over thunderous charge, as it applies subsequent rounds of combat and is not affected by terrain or being disordered.
Alrighty.
Magic items: brew of sharpness, brew of strength, chant of hate, blessing of the gods,
All
boots
the
of
things
striding,
that
Makwas potion of the caterpillar. Okay, alrighty. So what I've done is I've gone through here. We can pretty much skip this until maybe coming back later.
Yeah.
But one of the things which is kind of more interesting is the total number of tools that people have in their lists. Okay.
So the interesting, we can just say the
so
Trent with the elves has, is it the most at 32? The most variants in his army at 32, which is nice.
He's got a small amount of units, but a lot of them have multiple uses.
Multiple purposes.
Okay, and then you have, who do we have? We have 21.
I liked Paul's list with the orcs. He's got a high number, 28.
Yeah, he's got a high number.
And
so
Dale's
Zach only has 18 in his.
Yeah.
I noticed I was going through the breakdowns. Zach's got it's missing a bit of utility, and then we see some of the people like Brian Happynook's list. He has an okay amount of stuff, but for him it's smashing the hell out of units with his cav units. Played them quite a few times.
Yep.
But you see, as we go through the list, there's other people that can really outshock that army of his. But it's fairly well. All right, so let's go through. So I'm going to start going through here. So we're looking at anchors. Anchors, these are going to be the guys that are going to not particularly struggle against flanking forces and cav. So the obvious one is Paul's orcs here. He has all those orc units with phalanx. So, yeah,
Right, I
Yeah,
see. I
yeah.
see.
There's quite a few.
So a couple of highlights here. You've got
Yeah.
Trent's elves. You got Zach's got some stuff in there with his salamanders.
Yep,
You
yep.
got Scott with his. Is it Scott? No, not Scott. Thomas with his abyss. And we've got yours truly with Ratkin.
Yep, yep. You've got your guys with stuff. So as I said, not many. A lot of people are really set up. Well, most of the field are not set up to deal with cavalry, but some people very much are.
Yeah.
Okay, so anchors. So let's go to anvils.
Look at this.
Okay, these are going to be armies that are going to be great in the like the control and dominate scenarios.
Quite a few.
And possibly the loot counter ones, because they can dictate some of the movement on the table. So nobody stands out a lot, but you see dwarves and dwarves and dwarves.
Yep.
And Dan's
been in high end two of these now.
Yep. So those guys have quite a bit. Everyone else is, an average of about 2. Paul's orcs do not have a lot of anvils.
No.
So he's
a lot of hammers.
Yeah. He's very, very much offensive in his list.
Yeah.
But see that.
Speed.
And Luke Fraser with salamanders. All right.
We are actually going to put the individual lists up soon, guys.
Yeah. As we go along, we'll work our way through them. We're just taking a quick look. Okay. So the battle line. These are your general units. You see. So Christopher's undead. He has a lot of ghoul units. So that they don't really fit into any other role other than just your generic table and objective takers and stuff like that. A lot of people don't. Most of their armies have multiple lines. So you can kind of see, if you're looking at these lists here, the more you have of these battle line ones, the less utility you're really going to have in your army, and they come along with the toolkit. All right. Buffers. Okay, these are going to be kind of interesting. So what do we have? We have Sam Cameron with the League of Rortia list. He has a lot of buffers, and that's from the Wizards and stuff like that. So
a good balance across most armies. There's only a few armies that really have a low count there.
Yeah, Trent McCaffrey. No trickery from the elves, which is unusual. So we won't see any much stuff. Yeah, not with his list.
No, we'll see.
Probably doesn't need it. So yeah, the more vanilla your army is, the higher number of buffers you're really going to want to get more utility in your list or effectiveness. Okay, going down to chaff. Here we go. So just over, I guess, just over half the field's running some units to be run as chaff.
Yep.
So what do we got? Brian Happynook, that'll be his ghouls. Abyssal dwarves would be the pups.
Yep.
The ratkin would be your swarms, whatever they are.
Yep.
Yeah. Salamanders. There was a couple of weaker stuff, stuff like that. Interesting to see the Sylvankin has a lot of chaff units in his three in his list. It's kind of hard because he's running a lot of troops. I think he was anyway. Anyway, so let's go down. Deck chairs. Okay, these are people that are going to be, the control and the loot counter type missions are going to be they're going to probably have an easier time with those. So Christopher's undead with all those ghouls that he's got. Trent McCaffrey with the elves that he's got, because a lot of them have shooting abilities, so he can kind of be out there and plinking at the same time. So pretty much 2/3 spread. All right, go down to the divers. Okay, these are the people who really need to keep an eye on for sneaky late game type stuff. The Sylvankin. I think those
chase them off early if you can.
those flying frogs might be a bit of a problem. So late game objective takers. Dale's Abyssal Dwarves. Surprise, surprise. Yeah, that would be his gargoyles and stuff like that.
He's got gargoyles, quite a couple of units
so,
of them.
Yeah, so if you're playing a game of loot objective markers or tokens and stuff like that, backline, and someone's playing and they've got a lot of divers, you might want to take care of those pretty early. Flankers. Okay, these are the guys that are going to potentially be problems for people who do not have anchors in their lists. So you've got a lot more in the way of flankers than most of the other people.
Yes.
Okay, but the Northern Alliance, the Elves,
Yep.
Paul's Orcs with all these ball boys,
Yes.
my undead to a lesser extent, yeah, Ratkin, yeah, goblins, stuff like that.
Forces of Nature up there as well, I believe.
Yeah, yeah. All right, yes. Okay, let's go to Grounders. These are people that are going to be able to neutralize enemy flyers potentially before they actually get into the lines. So Vern, Northern Alliance, Trent's Elves, Zach's.
As you'd expect.
Yep,
from
yep.
Rhodia.
And the League of Rhodia does fairly well with those. Some people are going to have problems. Christopher, Luke, Andrew Scott, and Brian may have problems with dealing with flying creatures. All right, leaders.
Look at that.
So this is your leadership. So here we go. We got Andrew Scott and who's this? Luke Fraser, Trent McCaffrey, and Vern Harper running a bit on the low side when it comes to
You could
inspiring.
see Trent's though, because his unit strength is unit count is low.
Yeah.
So he has 2 out of 10 of his units, so that makes sense.
Now the problem is anybody that has a low number of leaders, if someone can punk out their leaders early, they could have a huge impact on the battle.
Yep.
The more leaders you got, the more redundancy. So you've got 4. I have 4. Paul has 4. Most people have 3.
Yep.
And then a couple have 2. Okay.
And what do we got? Missile.
Okay, this was interesting. I expected there to be more people who would have missile characters.
See, now this, I'm not sure you looked at it properly.
The Ice Blade.
Yep.
Wings of the Honeymaze.
Missile, I have 2 Brood Mothers with the ranged attack.
Yeah, they're not individual. They don't have fly, so they're not going into the back line of your enemy.
Oh, is that? Oh, that's what you're calling missile. Oh,
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
but I have
They're not shooters, not plinkers.
I have the big demon, and he's got 5 lightning.
Yeah, but he doesn't have individual, so you can't.
Right. He has nimble.
He's got nimble, but not individual.
Okay.
So for you, for example, you might use him as a missile. But you know that's
Probably
that's why this.
345
Yeah,
points.
this is and the words was expendable.
Yes.
Okay,
Definitely
so
not expendable.
not expendable. So you may use it. You know, you may need to use it.
Dale Pudwell taught me that the hard way.
Yeah. So there's that. And all right. So pests, people with the annoying. So Andrew Scott, I'm guessing gargoyles. Dale, I'm guessing gargoyles. Dan Wright, I'm not sure what his will. We'll take a look. Scott Keats with a Sylvan King. Yeah, those bloody frogs. They could be a problem, I think.
Yeah.
Northern Alliance. Foxes,
Yeah.
I think so.
2 units of foxes there.
All right, so plinkers. So these are the guys that are shooting. So the obvious one is Thomas Patterson's Forces of the Abyss. They don't have long range, but boy, does he have a lot of shooting in that army.
Yeah, those steady aim flame.
Yeah, and his big critters with the fireballs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Trent McCaffrey with his elves.
Yeah.
He has a lot of archers and stuff like that.
Makes sense.
Northern Alliance, yeah, quite a few. Salamanders, quite a few. You'll see, you know, some poor people have almost none, and then there's the orcs.
Orcs are going to be in your face, so you won't even have time to shoot.
And I guess that's really the way. You know, high on the shock, low on the shooting.
That's right.
So the plinkers. All right. So and let's have a look at the shock. So it's kind of weird. I would have been good to overlay those two. So the shock.
As you see,
so, look at Paul.
Yeah.
Orcs having all that crushing strength.
No shooting, but in your face with 10 units that are shock, are heavy hitters.
Yep. Starting with crushing strength 1. Orcs are mostly shock. So they're really hard hitting. Luke Fraser's salamanders.
Yeah, 8 units there. Same thing.
Yeah. So you know, a lot of people, and you know, my undead. I'm thinking I don't really have much. Yeah. I have my cav.
Don't worry, nobody's going to forget about your whites.
Everybody's going to. What whites?
Yeah, what whites?
What whites are you talking about?
Yeah, right.
Okay, so all right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch it over and we're going to start going through.
All right, here's the fun stuff. Here we go. Now we're going to specifically look at each individual list. That was all the flavor and showing you. Paul had broken that down nicely, and it sort of helps him get his mind into what individual list has. But this is what you're going to see deployed on the table across from you. So starting with
Andrew
this is
Scott's.
Andrew Scott. Andrew Scott's coming from Up Island. He's coming down to Nanaimo to see us again, and he's got a nice distribution of his army. So he's got 13 total units and 21 unit strength. So
Which is, for me, I'm thinking 20 and 12 is about average. So
20 and
a
12,
little
right.
bit above average
Yeah.
in all of them. So Black Souls unit, battle line, nothing really special. It's got reasonable defense, middling nerve, vicious melee. Not too bad. The Abyssal Berserkers, they're only a troop, but they're definitely shock.
look at that.
Crushing strength 1, vicious melee, wild charge, hitting on 3s with 12 attacks.
And only 115 points
Yeah,
as well.
fairly cheap. We have the Slave Orcs, which is going to be an anvil and shock via their crushing strength 1. They only hit on 5s, but they have 25 attacks.
But it's a horde.
Yeah.
With unit strength 3 for 155 points.
Yeah, and crushing strength 1, that's not too bad.
That's not bad at all.
Okay, so the Gargoyles, 2
There it
troops,
is.
which, you know what, I think that's pretty much what you're going to do with Abyssal Dwarves.
Yeah, you're
Although
gonna have at least 2 of
they're auto-includes.
Yeah.
So Flankers, Pests, and Divers. I'm having that unit strength of 1.
So this is one of my favorite units in the Chaos
Ah,
Wave.
Decimators.
Decimators, because look at, he's given them the blessing of the gods. So
Okay.
that is, plus that is a reroll 1s when rolling to hit.
Yep, has ranged of 4.
4.
Steady aim.
Steady aim.
Vicious on the range.
So he's given them bless. So my
Yeah.
reroll 1s
Ones,
hitting
yep,
on
4s.
4s. So those guys are, you think, oh, they've only got range 12. He's going to move 4.
Yep.
And shoot 12. So he's got
16.
a 16-inch threat range, which is reroll 1s and then
To hit and to wound.
and to wound.
So that's actually going to be a nasty
25
little unit.
attacks.
So that's the kind of unit that I possibly would put a missile into to get the disordered, so they can't shoot.
Try to
So
wound them as
Yeah.
early as you can.
okay, lesser obsidian golems, anvil and shock, crushing strength 2, brew of haste. So they're going to be speed 6.
Yep.
Which
Only
is,
one though. He's only got one of these, which is
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, so it's the horde, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, defensive 6, dash 17, melee 4, 18 attacks. All right, not that good by themselves unless you're smacking a character or
Right.
something, but solid hitting something else.
You missed the half breeds there too. Those are nice. Those are nice cats.
Oh, I
Speed
did, yeah,
8, so
yes.
that's 16-inch charge with the potion of the cat, crushing 1, thunderous 1, and vicious with regen.
Regen 5 up, yeah.
I like those.
these
220 for that is really nice.
Now the defense is only 4.
It's only 4 and their nerve is 14, 16.
Yes,
So this is one that you're going to probably target with missile fire. if
Yeah,
you can.
yeah. Your plinkers,
Yeah.
a couple plinkers into that
Yeah.
will really cause them some grief, especially if you've got some armor piercing on it.
And then we're down to the heavy mortar, which we know all about.
Yeah,
the
heavy mortar is amazing.
Yeah.
That's why you need 2. That's why Dell took 2.
Even with the nerf, they're still unbelievable.
Still good.
And there's why he only has 1 horde of lesser obsidian golems, because he has a greater obsidian golem. Nice big unit strength. 1
anvil and shock.
anvil shock, 12 attacks. And remember, folks, they spoiled this a little bit, that these big guys are getting a little love in Clash of Kings. And apparently they're all going to get a little something when they're hitting little stuff.
Yeah. My like crushing strength's not enough. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Right, slave driver. Okay, Tome of Darkness. So basically, that's going to be acting as a
Enchanter?
surge.
Surge, right.
Surgeon. Okay. Infernox.
There it is.
Inspiring Talisman. Yeah. Yep. Crushing Strength 2. Yep. Hitting, smashing things. Melee 3 with 6 attacks. All right. Hero Large Infantry. That's secondary grounder, perhaps. Not exactly quick, but if someone gets, if you position it well enough. And then the Plinko as a Conjurer's Staff, weakness 3.
It's a good list. I like this list.
Yeah.
And Andrew plays it well. I remember he came down about 6 months ago and had a game, and he plays this army really well. He knows what he's doing with his Chaos Dwarfs.
Okay, got to switch over to the next one. Okay, this is Brian Happynook's League
Okay,
of
so
Rordia.
Brian has, warning to all you island, mainland folks, Brian has been tearing it up over here with this army.
He was at first.
He was at first. He's run into some roadblocks recently.
Yep.
But he does play this army really, really well. He is definitely one of the favorites, probably.
Not my favorite.
Not your favorite.
No.
But
He's a bit of a
definitely
jerk.
one of the. He's a very skilled player, and he plays this army really well. So looking at this, we've got, what do you got? A
Whole
horde.
arms block,
Yep.
regiment, battle line and shock,
Yep.
crushing strength 1. Yeah, as with all the League of all the humanist stuff, defensive 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're going to be very vulnerable to shooting. They have the horde with the staying stone, crushing strength 1. So yeah, both a bit shockish. Spear phalanx, which is a good anchor.
That's a beautiful
and
anchor.
anvil.
With it, phalanx and ensnare?
Yeah, phalanx and ensnare. So gaining ensnare. So that's going to be very good. Anchoring a flank. Mounted scouts. Boy, do I hate this unit.
I love this unit.
I hate this unit.
Yeah, it's a pain.
That's why my my historical army is going to have like 3 or 4 units of this.
Of course, because you hate him that much.
Yeah, I hate them that much.
Yeah.
So yeah, black powder weapons, they're really annoying.
18-inch pierce 1 steady aim.
Yeah, I usually send either bullets their way or a character that can get in there and disorder.
Obviously, with the nerve 13-15, that's what they're there for.
Yeah,
to
defense
chase those
3.
guys off.
Yeah,
right?
he just hangs back and
Yeah.
that sort of stuff. Okay, the honor guard,
There
which
it
is
is.
which
This
is
is
the
the
hammer.
hammer of
This
the
is the big
hammers.
hammer.
Yeah. All
Brian
tournament
has
players would know.
gone the super horde. We should call this the Legion.
Yeah.
Yeah, the way. Okay, boots of striding, potion of the caterpillar, indomitable will. Boy, I've been on the bad end of that a few times.
Well, it's just such an amazing item to be
Yeah.
able to pop that and say, I'm no longer wavered and I'm fine and I'm going to hit you back.
Yeah, 10 points. It's worth it. Sometimes finding 10 points is pretty hard.
It's one of the best items in the game, though. It's an auto include, I think, for those units. One of the best hammers in the game, definitely Honor Guard, and he uses them really well.
Okay, so then we have volley guns, which are great area denial weapons. No minimum range, so they're great.
Yep. Pierce 2.
Center board,
Yep.
or whatever, covering an area coming through. You don't want to be a low nerve, non-individual, not in cover type character approaching these sort of things.
Right.
Especially with piercing too. Okay, there's the Duke.
Standard inspiring, somewhere to follow the guys around with.
Yep. The Duke, and then he has the 2 Barons.
Same thing. One's got the loot, so he Bane chants
Bane
one
chants.
of those.
Yep. And the other one's just there for inspiring. Yep.
Human only. So Honor Guard,
Keywords
they
human.
are human.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
basically
pretty much
everything in
everything.
the army is human except for his allies. Oh,
Yeah.
so this is one of 2 armies in all 16 armies that have allies, and he's taken undead allies.
Yeah, maximum amount of unit strength for minimum amount of cost for objective games, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it has a unit of zombies, 2 units of ghouls.
And now the last will end this because we didn't talk about this at the start. Total units, 15. So he's going to be out deploying most people with 24 unit strength, which is why he has the zombies and the ghouls in there. So he can add to his deployment at
So yeah, he got 4 unit strength out of these 3 units,
Yeah.
and actually the extra 3 out of over the 12.
Yep, it's a
in the
clever
units.
list. It is a clever list.
All right, so next one. All right,
Right.
Mr. Pudwell.
Mr. Pudwell.
Cursed
Yeah.
be his name.
So very simple, interesting looking at the difference in this army when we go over it, comparing it to Andrew's. Both have Black Souls, except for Dale runs a Horde.
Yep. So they
Okay.
make a good anvil.
It's a nice Horde at
Defense
Defense 5, 190 points with Vicious. He's got the 2 flanker. There's the Gargoyles, just as we spoke about.
Yep.
Seems to be an auto include. Make sure you have 2 of those. Great chaff.
Decimators,
Horde of them as well.
but without
See, now I'm looking at the going, Dale, that would have been good for you to put that in there, man. I really like that idea now of getting the, because it helps
that's
him in melee as well.
maximizing, but does he have the points?
Does he have the points, right?
Yeah.
'Cause it's not just for shooting, that one. It's actually in melee.
Yeah,
it would
as
work
well. Yeah, it'll work for both. Yeah, for both of them.
I like that.
Well, what's the melee? You know what? They're melee 4. That's not bad.
Not bad
They're
with
useful.
25 attacks. Nice nerve.
Yep.
Nice nerve there.
Yeah, steady aim. Shoot them before you can catch them, and when you catch them, hit them.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's got 2 hunting packs. This is his chaff. These guys are interesting. He can pair up against some really, some armies with Cav with those. Those are, because they get crushing 1 against Cav and Vicious, and they're dirt cheap.
Yep, unit strength 1, so
Yep.
they also make good deck chairs.
Yeah.
All right.
He's got 2 hordes. There's why I was saying earlier. He's only got 1. Andrew only had 1 horde of us.
Yeah, but he had the one big one.
He had the
So-
one big one. So there's
Well,
your
2 really.
trade-off.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
that. Nice unit strength there. And by the way, his unit strength for this army is low at 19.
Yep.
But he made up for it by having 14 units to deploy.
Okay. All right, the Angkor heavy mortars, 2 of them. Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
I remember those.
they
very
can
well.
hurt.
When they spike, ouch.
Yeah, it'd be a bit swingy.
Yeah.
Okay, Slave Driver with Loot of Insatiable Darkness for Bane chanting.
Yep.
Okay, the Hexcaster
Yeah.
for doing its annoying stuff, bit of plinking.
That's right. And this is why we see his unit strength a little lower, is because he has quite a few characters. He has 1, 2, 3, 4 characters plus the 2 weapons, so that'll give him his units, but it'll knock down his unit strength a little
So
bit.
this is kind of like almost, I could have also called this a buffer, but through the offensive debuffing.
Yeah.
With the weakness and the hex.
Weakness 3 is nice, especially with the cast dwarf ability with that, to be able to when you hit somebody.
The force feedback, whatever it is, the feedback.
Yeah.
So feedback. Yeah, there we go. Ironcaster.
Surge 8. Here's a Surger.
Yeah. Replace Fireball 10 with Surge 8. I think that looks like.
That's right.
Okay. Inspiring for the Hellforge.
Yep.
Okay, this is leader. He's buffing those up a bit, and then the guy on the red ball.
The big boy.
Overmaster on Ancient Winged Half-Breed.
9 attacks, crushing 3. Nice.
Now, look at the toolkit on that fella.
Yeah. He can do it all.
Yeah, 5/5. So flanker, shock, leader, grounder, and diver.
That's right.
So that is a very useful unit. Kill it first.
Kill it first. Yes.
Sorry, Dale. Next one.
Nice list.
Yeah, nice list.
Okay.
Dan Wright.
Dan Wright. This is the list of lists. This is one of my favorite lists in the tournament.
Yeah, this is shock, 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 shock,
Yeah.
shock, flank, shock, flank, shock.
And he's been tested and tested and tested, and he finally came up. And it turns out he actually found one more iteration of this after, but the lists had been submitted.
All right. So, Naiad Ensnarers.
Your favorite unit there, Bart?
Yeah. Yeah.
Naiad unit with Ensnare, with Regen 4, Pathfinder, and he gives them the Hammer of Measured Force.
Yep.
And they're Regen 4, so really, really annoying unit.
Yeah, they only have defense of 3, but nerve of 20/22.
Yeah.
So, as usual, triple charge.
Yeah, you need to triple charge them, get rid of them, because you're going to be on a -1 or even a -2 to try to hit them if you're in cover.
Yeah. All right, Salamander Primes. Boy.
These are big hammer, like 25
attacks, hitting on 4s.
And he switches out they got 2-handed.
Yeah, crushing strength 2. So they're pretty good, and I'm guessing Potion of Caterpillar.
Yep.
And the other one
no
doesn't
item on
have it,
that
so only one of them does.
Yeah.
Okay.
Find out which one of them has the potion.
Yes. Centaur Bray Striders.
Love these guys. Crushing 1, Pathfinder, Thunderous 1. You don't need to give them anything.
Well,
14, 16, 12 attacks.
Yeah, the points value for 12 attacks hitting on 3s is not
though.
bad.
Yeah.
Not bad. Defense 4, meh.
Yeah.
But considering the Pathfinder, you're probably going to be covered to negate some of the incoming shooting, so you're all right.
Yep.
Okay, those guys.
These guys are absolutely a threat. Crushing 1, Pathfinder, Regen 4. Their weaknesses, their defense 4. And these are the Naiad Worm Riders at 15, 17 nerve, 18 attack, 16 or 18
18.
attacks.
Let's say 18 attacks. You know what?
You pay for them.
Yeah, 220 seems a bit on the high side, but you know what? 18 attacks hitting on 3's nothing to sneeze at.
No.
Really, if you got a Bane chant on them, then they're almost the equivalent of the race.
That's right.
So the whites. So that's pretty good.
Pretty good, right?
Yeah. Okay.
There you go. They're Druid, Shroud of the Saint. So this is the healer. So
Heal 4 plus Shroud, so heal 7 all up.
7. Nice. And inspiring as well. Source of inspiring for him.
Yep.
The veteran's interesting because he gives the elite to the salamanders. So he'll have that guy following the salamanders and giving them elite 25 attacks, crushing strength 2. Pretty nice.
Yep. Always worth killing.
Yes.
Yep. Crushing strength 2 is not bad. It's only got 4 attacks. Might be an okay grounder.
Yep.
Hero. Yeah. So he's got individuals, so he'll be able to turn around.
So the Worm Rider Centurion, look at that. Gives it the Pipes of Terror. 5
Yeah.
attacks.
It's an interesting one. Leader, a pest.
Yeah.
The reason it's a pest is it's got a high speed, Pathfinder, regeneration, and nimble. So this could be a real annoying unit in your backline if it gets there.
Yep.
And not being undead, I'm really jealous.
Unit strength 1 as well.
Yeah, unit strength 1.
So it's not an individual.
Yep.
So that's a really interesting unit.
Yeah.
Only
yeah.
170.
Actually, not an individual.
Yeah.
Large cavalry. That's why.
Yeah.
Okay, that doesn't make it quite as pesty.
So this is our second army with allies. And by the way, the total units in this army is 13 with 30. That's right, you heard it here. 30 unit strength.
That's pretty high.
Yeah.
And the goblins, rabble.
Yep, regiment. Well, there it is. That's
regiment, horse,
strength, and then a horde for another 3. So he's gaining
3,
7, 8 unit strength and all of that.
Yep, and the mincer, mincer's being a mincer.
Yep.
Alrighty. Let's go to Drew Allen's list.
Yeah, this is one of our new guys who's came in and he's sort of tearing up the scene. He's done really well. He's actually managed to defeat Brian a couple of times with that League of Rodeo that we talked about.
Yep.
It's a good army. Too many Bane Chants, because you'll see why.
Yep. All right. So a lot of battle line stuff. So generic stuff.
Defense 6 battle line.
Yeah, it's always better if you can battle line if you can give it an ability in some way. Than just the points as they are, but defense 6.
Defense 6 at 150 points.
Yeah, at 15, 17 nerves.
Yeah.
They're actually probably the most solid battle line we have.
That's right.
Going in these, so
Yeah.
that's good. They're a good. You know what? You kind of think of that as dwarves, right? They're not fancy. They're just solid.
That's right.
Okay. So shield breakers, shock and anvil.
So he cleverly gives them the brew of strength. So they're actually 25 attacks, hitting on 3s, crushing strength 2 with headstrong, 21, 23.
25 attacks, hitting on 3s. That's pretty damn good.
Yep.
Okay, sharpshooters. I like these sharpshooters. I've only got to use them once, but they were annoying to Brian.
Pierce 2, 36-inch range, and his sharpshooters have headstrong.
Yep, and they hit on 4s. So even individuals, you hit him on 5s.
Yep.
They go into cover. You hit him on 6. Unfortunately, only 5 attacks.
Only
So
5 attacks.
really, it's good for hunting, shooting down war machines, or plinking for those nerve checks.
Hitting on 5s. Right?
Hitting on against individuals.
Yeah,
Hitting on 4s normally. Okay, a nice core.
Force. Yeah, no, it is force.
Yeah,
it's
4
force,
normally, 5 because of individuals,
Yeah.
6 for individual and cover.
Pierce 2.
So that's fairly solid, but that 36 means you can put them right in your back line. They make excellent deck chairs.
And
Unit strength 1.
The key thing about them is that late game, if they're sitting on an objective or something like that, they got it, 1 unit strength.
Yep. So that should be working. I'm just double checking that we're on the right screen. Yes, we are. That would have sucked. Hopefully someone would have said something. Okay, Earth Elementals.
Earth Elementals, well,
what else needs to be said? Yeah.
Defense 6,
Punch things and stop things.
Yep.
Okay, Stone Priests, he has 2 of them.
Oh, no, don't forget.
What?
With those 2
the greater Earth Elemental.
He's got the big brother there, the greater Earth Elemental.
Yep. So he's got Anvil and Shock. He's got a lot of Anvil.
And then he's got the 2 stone priests.
Bane Chant too.
Them to surge them in if he needs
Surge,
to.
Yep. So yeah, getting in a knife fight in close with these dwarves might be a bit of a problem.
It's a tough one.
Considering that these hordes have a small footprint and especially the greater Earth Elemental even smaller footprint.
And as you see, this is why he says too many Bane Chant, because he has 2 stone priests with Bane Chant, and then he has a dwarf army standard with
the loot of.
And then he has a flame priest as well with Bane Chant.
Yeah.
So he's going to be boosting a lot.
Yeah, he should be boosting everything that's engaged.
Yeah, and that is a 13 units, 22 unit strength dwarf army. It's solid. So the key with this army is to get those objectives as quick as you can, because they're still dwarves and they're going to take a while to get there.
Dominate is going to be a strong mission for this one.
Don't face up against them.
Yeah, there's some good stuff there. All right.
All right. Oh, look at this.
Okay, you can talk this one.
So this is my Ratkin. Had a really nice run with these boys. Obviously, the 2 shock troops.
Can I zoom that in a bit?
2 hordes of shock troops, which is the heart of a Ratkin army, because they each have the plague pots. I switch out and take gain the phalanx. They have crushing 1. They get rally 1 because of hordes. And of course the phalanx, which means I can cover flanks or whatever else. And you'll see why they're particularly effective, because I have things to buff them. I have wretches as well. Key thing with the wretches, they are expendable. A nice cheap unit strength 3 horde at 115 points. You can get buffed by the shock troops with the rallies. I have a claw shot. Just like the dwarves, I sit back with those and I plink away 5 shots, pierce 2, hitting on 4s.
Yep.
Unit strength 1. The weakness, of course, with that unit is they're only defense 5, and their nerve is 8-10. So if you get a lightning bolt or something on them, you'll chase them off with 1 shot.
Yeah.
Again, you'll see my Vermintide.
But you know what? With 36-inch range, You can be
way
back, so it might be a while.
And that's the point. I'll set them up way back and make you chase them. 2 Vermintide. Again, the purpose of the Vermintide, they're swarms. They are expendable, and you'll see why expendable is important for my army when I get to the Brood Mothers in a sec. 2 of my favorite units in the army are the Tunnel Runners. One has the Potion of the Cat, 24 attacks, Crushing 1, Thunderous 1, and then the next one has a Healing Brew, and that's the same thing, Crushing 1, Thunderous 1, so 2 Tunnel Runner units. Chariot units, they're nice. And then I have 2 Brood Mothers, and the Brood Mothers, of course, go very nicely with the expendable Vermintide, and the Wretches eat the weak. So that Drain Life, I can target my own units. I get 10 eat the weak on them, and those, whatever I eat and hit, I can, and it's only wounding them on 2s, those Vermintide. And I can transfer those wounds onto my other units, like, say, my shock troops, to heal them back up.
Yep.
And of course, they each have they have Radiance of Life, so I can put 1 wound on something else to bring them back. I have a Swarm Crier for the with the loot, so to Bane Chant, let's say, shock troops, so all of a sudden they are 30 attacks hitting on 4s with Crushing Strength 2.
No, Sean, there is plenty of shooting in a lot of these lists. We just haven't really come across them yet.
And the Brood Mothers each have 5 shots each with the Steady Aim, range 4, pierce 1, vicious on that as well. So they're kind of handy, 18-inch range there. So they're going to be shooting as well with the claw shots. Last but not least, of course, I pay for the big guy.
Yes.
345 points. He is a lot. So if you can target him and get rid of him early, it really puts me behind the 8 ball. Crushing Strength 3, 13 attacks, Inspiring Nimble. He also has Rally 2. And he has Lightning Bolt 5.
Which is useful.
Yeah.
And Leader, Grounder, Shock, Plinker, Diver, and Flanker.
So 12 units, 21 unit strength.
Yep. Okay. Christopher Perry's Undead list. Lot of battle line and
13 units, 20 unit
chairs.
strength. Yeah.
So yeah, hanging back, holding objectives. Revenants, Aegis of the Low-High and Hammer of Measured Force. So this is really
Hordes here.
Yeah. So 2 anvils. One of them's Shockish with the Hammer of Measured Force. The Whites, which are amazing.
One of the best units in the game, right there.
Macwell's Potion of the Caterpillar. That's good. I've gone with the Brew of Haste to give that little bit extra reach out.
Nice.
And but it's a different choice.
You know, the one thing I always forget about Whites is they fly.
Yeah.
That's a pain, and their height is 3.
Yep. So they can see over stuff.
Yeah.
So they're great. All right. So Balefire Catapults, 2 War Engines. Okay. Yeah. One of the things, Sean. This is 1995 plus 5 instead of 2300. You don't have a lot of points to be spamming anything, so the lists tend to be a little bit more balanced depending on the races. So I don't know if you just joined and missed out the earlier part when we went over the basically the breakdowns.
And as you're seeing right now, Sean, we're looking at 2 Balefire Catapults, and in my list I have shooting as well.
Yeah.
So we did have a few
Forces of the Abyss and the Rordia.
Yeah.
Okay. Gorblight. Which is, it's all right, a bit of shock. Leash King with Shroud of the Saint. Heal 6 plus Shroud, so heal 9.
Nice.
And Surge 10 is useful. And all right. So also
lots of heal in this army.
Yeah, healing brew, Drain Life 6.
Yeah.
You have to wound, which is the downside of the Drain Life.
Yeah.
Compared to the heal, but hey, you're banking on both sides, right?
That's right.
Which is quite useful. All right, and then Morgoth. No beta lists.
No, we said no beta lists because we know it was going to change pretty soon.
Yep. All right, so Morgoth the Faceless, who everybody knows really about. He's a great tool. Mostly buff. Very inspiring. Is handy. Bane Chant 3, Drain Life 7, Mind Fog 3. That's an awesome little spell.
And the ability for this guy to be able to
move at the double
per game, move at the double and cast,
and keep
nasty.
going. So 13 units with 20 unit strength.
Nice.
So yeah, about average. Okay, Luke Fraser.
This is Luke's. Luke's in the house here. This is the salamander list. I love this list.
Okay, so yeah, salamanders hitting on 4 with 12 attacks, whatever, but with the crushing strength 1 makes a shock. The ancients, with their high defense, are always a bit of a nuisance.
We started seeing this in the U.S. Masters, and I love this idea. Taking troops of ancients.
Yeah. Well, that's thick chaff, you know.
Because like you use defense 6, and he puts them in front of his. Probably puts them in front of his. Where are they? Tyrants.
Tyrants.
There they are.
Yeah. Now sometimes it's not worth hitting the chaff.
No, it's not.
So you just back up.
Yeah.
So that's
because
one
they're
thing.
slow. That's their weakness.
But having defense 6 chaff is great for baiting someone out on that chance where they think they should get it, but they don't roll as well as they do, and all of a sudden they've set themselves up for a flank.
And let's be clear, they're not just defense 6 chaff; they're fearless defense 6 chaff.
Yeah, which is handy.
Which is handy.
And dash 13 is like usually dash 12, so
very nice.
That's not bad. Okay, the tyrants. Oh boy, these tyrants.
There they are.
The first
Probably,
time,
for its size, the best unit in the game in terms of this type.
Yeah,
right.
They can go crazy.
Large infantry.
The first time I ran into these, which was my first game against those guys, my bum hurt after that game. It's like, holy crap. Okay, don't ignore those guys.
No, ignore at your own peril.
Yeah.
That's 60 attacks between the two of them.
Oh yeah,
hitting on 4s with crushing strength 2.
All right, Scorchwings.
Nice.
These are a handy little unit. Shock.
Yeah.
Because they have a bit of thunderous charge here.
Yeah.
Being nimble, Pathfinder as well. So, and they're hitting on 3s with 12 attacks. They're not bad. They're a little expensive.
Don't forget he's got steady aim as well with the fire sparks.
Yep. So these Scorchwings are a great unit. Irregular, I can see why.
Yeah.
Flank and Pest. Yeah, Pest. They go so quick. Nimble Pathfinder.
Do you notice the item he gave them though?
What item? The Helm of Confidence. Yeah, inspiring themselves. Yeah, that is definitely going. That there says Pest.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to hang back.
Nice Pest.
Okay.
And of course he's got the sprites probably to support them as well, which are
12-inch steady aim. Bit slow.
Well, 6.
6. Yeah, well compared to these guys, aren't going to be able to keep up with those guys, but potentially chaff or protect the Scorchwings maybe.
Yeah.
So, but really good deck chairs.
Yeah.
Okay, these Lechylodons. Okay, they only have 18-inch range, but they do have 5 attacks with their caustic spit. With do they have steady aim on that
steady
thing?
Aim.
Steady aim. So these are not bad deck chairs.
Yep.
For when you're on like control when you're on the back.
That's right.
Yep. Okay, so Phoenix.
There's nice to see a Phoenix. Nice.
Yeah,
to see
Fireball
a Phoenix.
10, Heal 5, Regeneration 4, Radiance of Life. So the Heal 5 and Radiance of Life, that's actually quite good.
That's nice, isn't it?
That could be like an extra turn of something living.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's not bad.
Fireball 10 as well.
Yeah, Speed 10, Fly Nimble.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's handy. I'm thinking Phoenix with the Scorchwings.
Yeah.
Potentially. Okay. Battle Captain of Rhinosaur.
Yeah, there he is. Big guy.
Yeah, it just goes to smash
points
stuff.
for all that is pretty nice.
It is pretty damn good. Thunderous Charge 1, Crushing Strength 2, Nimble.
Yep.
Yeah, they're pretty good. And Art tickles. So
he's a character killer. Your big guys. He'll be going after my big demon.
Your monster hunter type stuff.
All of a sudden
the blowpipes. Yeah.
Pierce 2 against that guy.
So yeah, he could be a bit of a nuisance, but Plinker and Leader.
Yep.
So is it 13 units with 22 unit strength?
That's right. That's a nice
bit above
balance.
average. So that's not bad. Okay.
This is you.
My list. Okay, I'll go through mine. This is basically the same list that I've been playing with minor tweaks. So I've got my 2 regiments of Revenants. I have my Anvil, which has Hammer of Measured Force to make them shockish. I have my 2 units of Race. Good deck chairs. Defensive 6 units.
It's a pain.
Yeah. You see how these ones are dash 12?
They're dash 12, but you have life leech.
The other ones were like dash 13.
Yeah.
So these Wraiths, even though they've got defense 6, they tend to be like, depending whether the opponent's hot or not, they can either be good or just get wiped out pretty quickly. So
I've never done that.
Yeah, I really have to husband those units.
Right.
Okay, so Revenant Cavalry, Makmal's Potion of the Caterpillar. It's a horde. That's why I gave him the Potion of the Caterpillar, because you're always clipping stuff. So that's useful. Thunderous Charge 2, meh. That's all right. I wish they had Crushing Strength 1 instead.
32 attacks with dash 24 is pretty darn good.
Yeah,
But your favorite unit is this, of course.
Yeah, my whites. These are great. Horde of whites. Brew of Haste, so they have a speed of 8 all up. 3 attacks hitting on,
18 attacks.
18 attacks hitting on 3s.
Yeah.
Dash 17, not bad. Crushing Strength 2, Fly, Life Leech 1, Shambling. Don't have Nimble.
Don't have Nimble.
Don't have Nimble. A lot of flies have Nimble, these do not. Okay, the Vampire Lord, Lord Victor. Very useful unit. Leader. I found myself with the surging, it's too easy to surge your guys out of inspiring range.
Right.
So you have the Vampire Lord go along with him, and he's getting those extra couple hits on the units they're
7
hitting
attacks.
and giving you that that inspiring. So 2 regiments of Revenants plus the Vampire Lord do a nice amount of damage on a target in 1 round.
And you have Life Leech 3, right, with your item?
Yep.
Nice.
So Life Leech 2 plus the the Sanguinary Scripture. So Life Leech 3, which means most of the time gets 3 back, which is handy. Too far away to be helped.
Right.
Okay, the Leech King. This is the healing core. Also has Lightning Bolt 5. Yeah, surging out of Inspire.
Yeah.
Oh,
Sean's experienced that, obviously.
yeah, I've learned that the hard way.
Yeah.
Okay, so Lightning Bolt 5 because early game you're not always surging or healing. So Lightning Bolt can be handy to take off, chip away at stuff. And late game, getting that nerve check on something a little bit further away because he has a speed of 7.
Yep.
And being an individual, so 21 inch, was it 24, 31 inch?
You have to pay
range.
for all that, but he is a multi-tooled unit.
Yeah, he's pretty useful. Okay, I have the Necromancer. He has the Inspiring Talisman, which is great, and Bane Chant 2. So basically, he supports my my main line.
Yeah.
And then there's Zunok Iceblood, who gives elite to my Revenants.
Nice.
So he's very handy near the Horde and the
He inspires them as well? Yes, he does.
Yeah, inspires them as well. Surge 8, Fireball 10.
Nice.
Comes in handy. Now, this army does not have any anchors, but when you shamble, it's very dangerous for people with flyers to try and get into your line because you can just turn something around and shamble them in.
Right.
And I have a lot of shambling.
Now, as you admittedly said, because you have to pay for all those characters, you've got a little under average for unit strength and a little under average for unit count. But you bring that back with the
healing.
The healing and the sheer fearlessness with the big units.
Yeah.
Right?
It's not hurting me too much
most
of the time. All right, so.
This, one of my favorite, Paul's in the house hopefully still, one of my favorite armies made in the, I love to see an orc list. I especially love to see an orc charge, old traditional, remember that? Charging your face list.
Mm-hmm.
Look at this. He's got 4 regiments of, guess what? Phalanx.
Yeah, yes.
Crushing Strength 1 Phalanx.
Right, you really good against the cav and the
don't
flies.
Need to give them items.
Cav and flies, Phalanx are great.
That's
Crushing
right.
Strength, they already have an item. Brew of Strength, Brew of Strength, Brew of Strength, Brew of Strength,
Yeah, that's right.
And that's
because
really
they're going to get buffed by, guess what? 2 War Drums, which we'll see later.
Yes.
So Rally 2 for Orcs. So all of a sudden, those 13 15s are potentially 15 17. Defense 5.
Yep. So yeah, pretty good.
2 Great Axe Troops, which are just 100.
Crushing Strength 2.
Crushing Strength 2 with Orc Skull Pulls as well.
Yeah.
10 attacks. Again, 10, 12, but could end up being 12, 14.
Yeah, 3 hitting on 3s.
Hitting on 3s.
So that's fairly useful.
Probably hides them behind the Phalanx and smacks them in later. Gore Riders. We got 3 regiments there. 16 attacks. Hitting on 3s, Crushing 1, Thunderous 1.
So they're pretty solid.
Pretty solid for only 190 points. So those are your, like we said, those are your flank and shock that are hitting you hard. 16 attacks on 3s. And of course, that's 9 unit strength flying into your face right there.
Yep. All right.
And supported by a Crudger on a Wing Slasher. One of the best I like. One of my favorite big guys in the game. He gives it the
5 rolls that I can think of.
Hitting 3s, Crushing 3, Fury as well. So even if you do manage to waver it, it's going to have Fury.
Defense 5 is good.
Inspiring.
17, 19.
2 flaggers for Inspiring, of course, and then Crusher on foot with
generic Crusher.
Just 50-point guy to go and smack in. Great list. I'm terrified of it.
Okay, so Sam's list. Now, this is actually my list. He's borrowing, as I only recently got into it. I understand that when it first was looking at it, didn't really grasp the utility of the list, but as it's gone along, did question some of my choices, which came down to what miniatures I had painted.
That's right.
But it's already suggested a few changes, but it seems to be doing fairly well with it. Yeah, I think he smacked Brian around a little bit.
Yep. We had a great game. I did a demo game for him, and he actually beat the Rats. So he's, you know, Sam's he is a war gamer of war gamers, though. He used to play what's that game?
War Machine.
War Machine, and
another one. So he's picked up the game quickly and is making good strides.
This is a nice Lordia list, though. It's a multi-purpose list. It's got 13 units. It's got 20 unit strength. Go ahead, Bart.
Okay, so the pole arms block, it's melee 4, but with the brutal sharpness, they count as melee 3. Crushing strength 1, which is all right. 20-22, but their defense is only 3, so they're a little squishy. So not usually out the front. Foot guard. They're shock and anvil as well. Defense of 4 because they have the two-handed weapons. Okay, yep. Okay. Anything else? Yeah, nothing special.
Foot guard,
crossbow blocks, both have been upgraded to have the rifles. So that's 10 attacks, hitting on 5s, pierce 2. So they're quite useful, especially when you combine them with the volley guns. Okay, then you have the knights.
Knights are knights, right?
No special magic items on them because of points. The 2 volley guns, great area denial weapons. The Duke, Wilhelm the Reckless, is Blade of the Beast Slayer. This is the grounder and leader, so he's useful. The Duke on Ancient Winged Arrowlayers, and what I did not put down here is he is also a diver, because he has unit strength 1, but he has Makwar's Potion of the Caterpillar. Right. So he can dive, he can move like 20 inches to an objective that's in cover and not have to stop outside of it. So that's a very useful unit. Also having the Radiance of Life, gives himself a little bit of healing, but heals friends as well.
Nice.
Okay, Army Standard Bearer. Probably going to be a Baron at a later date, because only have 1 attack kind of sucks compared to a Baron.
Right.
Lute of Insatiable Darkness for the Bane chanting of the main line, Foot Guard and those guys. So those will essentially have Crushing Strength 2. So even against Defense 6 units, there's a little bit of firepower in there, which has probably already been softened up by the Piercing 2 massed firepower of the rest of the army.
Right.
So soften them up, clean them up. Okay, the army, the wizard, Shroud of the Saint, heal 3, lightning bolt for those little shots.
So heal 6 then?
Yep. And then the battle shrine, which is a great thing. Rallying 2 is awesome.
Auto include for all league, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. You know, having him when he's like near your volley guns, for example, you know, you end up with you know, a dash 13 on the 13 on the break value.
11, 13.
So which can really help you out.
Yep.
Especially if your wizard's there, it helps you keep them there. The wizard heals them up. So you know, it's a fairly good list. In my opinion, anyway, I think it's probably my favorite list that I have.
It's a fun list
because it's really combined arms.
Yep.
All right, next one.
All right, so we got Scott. Scott was in the house here. He's got the Sylvan King. So you know a lot about the Sylvan King.
Yeah.
You run one of those yourself.
Okay, boss Grace with shock. Not really chaff because they have 20 attacks, and you really want to be going in there hitting them with things. So
that's a troop with 20 attacks.
Yeah, but defensive 3.
Right.
And
okay.
10-12 nerves. So
right.
Yeah.
But I'm assuming he's clever and he's going to put those somewhere. So they're going to be hiding.
Yep.
And they're verdant as well, so they get inspired, right?
Yep. From
where is it? The Tree Herder.
The Tree Herder, not inspiring, gives them vicious.
Oh.
So yeah.
Right.
Okay, the Horde of Forest Guard. That's elite, melee, Pathfinder, Thunderous Charge 1. They're pretty damn good. Defense 4,
Chalice as well.
24, Chalice of Wrath. Yep. River Guard Tree Leapers. I haven't actually seen these models anywhere, so this will be interesting to see. These are the pests, yes. Ensnare.
Oh, you'll love that.
Fly, Nimble, Pathfinder. Oh, they're going to be awesome. They I think would be a fun unit. Nimble and Fly and Ensnare. Okay.
Oh, that is a pain.
Yep. And yep, so Hunters of the Wild, where your normal battle line stuff. That's what I use mine for. 15 attacks, hitting on 3s is nothing to sneeze at. The Forest Shamblers, yeah, shock troops, defense 5, maybe a little, it could be an anvil.
Fearless.
Yeah, it could be an anvil, maybe. Scout
Scout is nice on those boys.
Yeah, actually, you know one thing which is different between this army and my Sylvankin army? He has way less scout than I had in mine. Mine, like most of my army scouts up.
Yeah, you had a lot of elf. You didn't have a lot of trees and stuff.
Yeah. So the Treed Herder, who's the Wilt
Did he
Father.
upgrade? Did he upgrade it?
Oh yeah, upgrade to Wilt Father.
Oh yeah, of course you have
Okay,
to, right?
and Aura Vicious for Verdant only.
Yeah.
Cloak of Death. Okay, so yeah, everybody knows him. 3 because he's Verdant.
The most allied.
Yeah. Yeah, he's useful.
Oh, you got to have it in the Sylvankin army though, for sure.
Okay, Elven Archmage.
Bane
Inspiring
Chan 2.
Talisman. Yep, Lightning Bolt.
Nice multi-purpose.
Okay, smacking stuff up.
Yeah.
And helping out the rest of his line. And and Dragon Kindred Lord.
Big dragon. That's nice so that's interesting. So this kind of reminds me, what do we got? We got 19. So this is like yours, Bard. You've got 19 units, strength 11. This is a lot like modeled after the U.S. Masters type stuff with the 2 big guys. So I'm interested to see how this army stacks up. The combination of the Tree Herder, the Wilt Father, plus the Dragon Lord hitting something at the same time is kind of terrifying.
Yeah, it can be.
It can be, right?
Yeah. It's got some heavy hitters there.
Yep.
All right. Thomas Patterson, Forces of the Abyss. This is the one that had
22,
so much plinking.
12.
Yep.
We get to see. So he's got the succubi larvae. I've always wanted to see those in play because we have some Forces of the Abyss players over here.
Yeah, and snare.
It's snare like
on
that.
Those guys.
Look
So
at
they're
that.
anvils with and snare. So that's pretty damn good.
And
so anchors
fearless.
on anvils and fearless. -21.
Who cares if they hit on 6s? They're sit there and hold you.
Yeah, I would actually be tempted to not even attack with those guys. Just like take the hit, disengage, take the hit, and with hopefully disordered from hindered from terrain.
Oh, I mean, it's just beautiful. 150 points for a horde that's going to bog you down.
Unit strength 3.
Fearless.
Pretty good.
Right?
Flame Bearers.
Yeah.
Okay, they only have 18-inch range, but piercing 1 steady aim, hitting on 4s. Okay, with 10 attacks. Not bad. Good deck chairs, good plinkers.
And then
Molochs.
Wow.
Yeah, the big, let's go and hit
Crush
stuff.
2, Fury, Regen 5.
Sacrificial Imps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hitting on 3s, these guys. They're not hitting on 4s.
Yeah, Brew of Haste.
Yeah.
18 attacks, 16, 18, defense 4. Concentrated firepower. I think the Rordia list would probably be a good matchup for them versus this list.
Yeah.
The Rordia, I don't think would
Depends
have
how
to
he hides the Molochs. Does he hide them behind the larvae?
Yeah.
And
Well,
then you're at -1 to hit, right?
Yeah. That would help him out for sure. Okay, Hellhounds.
Yeah.
Flank and shock.
Justice Boots,
striding.
24 attacks. That's
Yep.
nice.
24 attacks for a regiment. That's not bad.
Look at the range too. 18.
Yep. So
The nerf is the
8.
weakness on those.
Yeah,
right?
13,
Obviously.
15. Yep.
Abyssal Fiends, same thing. Nice range.
Yeah, 2 of them.
7. 2 of them.
2 of them. So crushing strength 2, fury, inspiring, vicious. Okay, no wings, so no flying.
No flying. Fireball 10 each of those with 7 attacks each. 15, 17. Pretty nice. With fury.
Yeah, this is like dominate. These are going to be a problem.
Yeah.
All these fireball 18 on this unit. Abyssal Warlock. Only 5 attacks, but has piercing 1, steady aim.
This list is scary.
And the Efreet, Fireball 15, Fireball 15 is 2 of them.
Oh.
So yeah, this is kind of like my Dwarf army, but better.
Yeah. Because he's got everything in this. He's got shock, he's got anvils, he's got anchors, he's got everything. This is a nice list.
Yeah.
This is scary. 22 unit strength, 12 units.
Yeah, fairly well rounded. So yeah, nice. Okay, all right. So let's go on to Trent McCaffrey.
Trent, good old Trent over there with the elves, our only regular elf list. So again, this is again interesting because this is Trent from the mainland, and these guys, it looks like they're modeling a little bit from the U.S. Masters. We'll come to that.
It's almost like a min-max type thing where they're going here. So you got 2 troops, of the Palace Guard, easy to hide being only a troop. Nerves kind of good for a troop, but still it's low.
15.
Defense is only 4.
Yeah.
This is really going to suffer if someone shoots at them.
Yep.
So chaff, deck, shock, and deck chairs. Kindred archers, not bad. Only a troop though, 8. So these are classic deck chairs.
Yeah.
The hangback. Therenian Sea Guard.
2 hordes of them. I like
great,
all of these.
great units. 3 anvil, anchor, and plinkets.
Unit strength 4 on these as well.
Unit strength 4, yeah. Yep, defense 4, 21, 23 nerve, ranged 5, melee of 4. So that's actually not bad. Like some decent threat projection from those guys.
Plus the phalanx when you finally get to them.
Phalanx, yeah. Yep. So they're pretty damn good. Yep. Stormwind Cavalry, 2 regiments of those.
Elite cav.
Yep, yeah, your elite cav. Potion of Caterpillar on one of them. That's it. The Dragon Kindred Lord, 2 of them. Look at that. Flank, shock, leader, ground, plink,
what's
and
the
dive.
unit strength? I believe we had this. It was
1.
10 units, and unit strength is 19.
I wasn't sure on this list because it wasn't in the screenshot.
Oh, I have it. I think I have it on my phone somewhere. But yeah, I think it's Trent.
I think it was low on unit count and about okay with unit strength.
And Joe, yes, I will review request. And Joseph asked to join. Okay. Yeah, you're good.
Okay, let's go over Northern Alliance. This is the
Yay.
last one here.
So glad, Vern.
Yep, Snow Foxes. So once again, this is like big hammers and chaff. You know.
So you got 10 units, 20 unit strength. Again, this is a mainland fella. So
yeah,
he's got
low on unit count. It's going to hopefully out deploying. It hopefully won't be a problem. But look at this: the Snow Foxes, the Tundra Wolves. So
you know how much I love the Tundra Wolves, right?
Yeah. So the Tundra Wolves are awesome. I love them. Snow Foxes, yeah. Ice Elementals, useful unit. Plays in all phases. You know.
Crushing 1, the Shambling, and the Icy Breath at 10 inch. The key with those, they only have 10 inch, but they can be surged.
Yep.
And then you can shoot with them.
Yep. Or you can shoot and then surge them into combat.
Right?
Yep. So they're pretty handy.
Yep.
Okay. The Snow Trolls.
There they are.
Regeneration 5 up. Yep. Nothing.
One of my favorite monsters infantry units, just because they get Crushing 2, Vicious, and Regen 5.
Yep.
And then there's the big guys right there.
Frostfang Cavalry, that's
30 attacks.
Hitting on 4s.
And look what he's given them.
He has given them the Brew of Sharpness,
Hitting
so
on
hitting on 3s. So that's a lot of attacks. So that's going to be pretty shocking when they smash the things.
So that's a 15-inch threat ranges too, because they've got speed 7 plus the wild charge.
I think this is going to one shot regiments.
Oh yeah.
And really hurt hordes.
The key with these guys is, of course, if you're facing the Frostfang Cab, is their nerve is 15, 17.
Shooting will be a problem for these guys.
It's such a problem because they don't have Headstrong and they don't have Fury.
Yeah, I think the Rortia list would probably make mincemeat out of this list, potentially. Ice Queen,
beautiful.
Leader buff up, yep. Usual stuff. Icy Breath with Surge.
Yep.
To be used with the Snow Trolls. Okay,
No
Lord
buff
on
on
Chimera.
that, which is interesting because I like to buff it up to, when I use my Icy Queen, I like to buff her and put her up to Surge 12.
Yep.
But carry, yeah.
Yeah, Lord on Chimera. Look at that.
He's no slouch, this guy.
Leader, diver, buffer, plinker, flanker, shocker, and grounder.
It's got everything.
So it's got, he's everything. 17, 19, defense 5. Once again, shooting vulnerable. And the only missile that I saw in everybody's list, this guy, Wings of the Honey Maze.
Yep.
Starts off with defense 4, so it will be defense 3.
Defense 3.
Okay, 6 attacks, melee 3 though, which is pretty good. Crushing strength 1, duelist.
Keeping duelist.
Yep. So
does he give it the Fox? There's no Fox.
There's no Fox.
You could give it the Fox to
You
double
get that
it
extra,
to 7, to 14 attacks.
Yep, get it a bit more. So
but I guess you ran out of points, right?
Yep. Okay.
Good list. I like that, Vern.
Zach Davies.
Hey. So here's Zach's. What do we got for Zach's?
The Scrying Gem. Okay, so he's got 10
Yep.
units, 23 unit strength, so high unit strength.
Nice unit strength.
The
Scrying Gems
offset the
only
lower
Scrying Gem I think we've seen.
Mm-hmm.
So
with the lower unit count, so that's pretty good. Okay, Gegator Warriors. What's that? A horde.
Horde of them.
So they make a good anvil. Vicious melee Pathfinder. Yeah, it's all right. Ancients. They're always good.
2 regiments.
Crushing strength 1, defense 6. Yep, regiments rather than hordes. Dash
and
17.
2 sources of inspiring for him is I think why
he
he likes that.
Yes. Salamander Ceremonial Guard. Chalice of Wrath.
Yep.
30 attacks, hitting on 4s. Defense 5, that's actually pretty damn good.
With phalanx?
Yeah, the phalanx, nice. The tyrants, both shock units, they're nasty. If you can get 2 of those into something, I don't think it's going to survive.
So he's given one the boots, and then the other one the blessing of the gods to give them the reroll.
Yep.
That's not a bad idea.
So elite. All right. Rhinosaur, potion of the caterpillar, 18 attacks, hitting on 3s, that's no slouch. Crushing strength 1, thunderous charge 2, so that's pretty damn good.
That could one round stuff.
Yep.
With all that.
Yeah, 18 attacks, hitting on 3, 12. Troops wipe them, regiments hurt them.
Yep.
Good chance of going supported, probably wipe them.
A herald with the loot. Oh,
loot, yep. Buff. Okay, battle captain on Rhinosaur. Yeah, he's useful.
Yep.
And
look,
same R-Talk again, R-Tackle or whatever. Yep. So it was a good character, I think.
Yes.
Okay, and that is all the lists.
That is our lists.
Okay, so I think we've gone through everything.
Yep.
That we have on there. So I think we can probably end it off. And yeah, we'll see how this all goes, and we'll catch you guys at the tournament.
So remember, fellas, last I'm going to end with one last thing. Try to get there as early as you can. I mean, 9 or whatever, 9:15, 9:20, because we'll do the intros and all that stuff. We'll be setting up probably still around 9 something. I think the doors open at, around 9. Did she say?
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that. But the main thing is, the last thing, I'm going to be sending an email out. Because of COVID restrictions, everybody remember you've got to have your barcode. It's being required for the barcode to gain entrance. You have to be able to at least show that barcode that you've had 1 shot. That is a provincial mandate anyways for enclosed areas. And the second thing is, I hate to say this, but if you can print out 7 copies of your list, and the reason being is you can't reuse copies. So I had asked for 3 copies of the list, but it turns out that I can't show you a list, you use it for the game, and then I get it back and then share it with someone else.
Yeah, we shouldn't really do that.
No, so unless you can bring a copy that can be, it's in plastic.
Yeah, they
can be
wiped down
after and sterilized. Just print out 7 copies of your list. 1 for the admin, which is us, 1 for yourself, and 1 for each of your 5 opponents would be much, much appreciated.
Okay.
Anything else?
No, that's about it. So thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll see you out there at the tournament.
Cheers, guys. Look forward to seeing you. Have a pint.